postseason now that, not that any opponent seems easier, but in other words, you've seen the really good teams. Now suddenly in postseason play, chances are you're not going to run into an ACC caliber team in the first or second round. I mean, how much does that help you?
You know, to say that Georgia State isn't an ACC caliber team, I don't know if that's, you know, they've got a bunch of guys that I think ACC teams would love to have, you know, that can really score. They're more skilled than some of the ACC teams we play. They're better shooters. They're better passers. Some of them aren't physically as big, but they're pretty good basketball players. And, you know, so I don't think it's that at all. I think that's what people don't understand is how many more good teams are out there. And Georgia State is an example of that. Very talented group, you know, especially offensively. They just, I think they're #1 in the country in fewest turnovers. I mean, they don't turn the ball over. They play with 2-point guards. They shoot. They share the ball. And their style defensively is so unique that it's, you know, it's hard to play against, especially in one-day prep.
Talk about the 18-game schedule in the ACC. The other side of that coin for strength of schedule, obviously, is the 12 non-cons. I mean, as you go about crafting that 2014 schedule, do you consider the guys you have back in this core to try to, you know, beat?
Yeah, we'll schedule a little bit harder. You know, we scheduled some teams that we thought we could beat, and there's always going to be certain scheduling requirements because you're going to have X amount of home games. We got to have 15 or 16 home games for our schedule, so we're going to have some of those. And then the other thing is you got to remember, guys, it's who you can get to play too now. I mean, it's a two-way street. Somebody else has to agree to play you, and that's not always easy. You know, that's why I made such a big deal about us getting Arizona in a series a couple years ago. People didn't realize how big a coup that was. Maybe now that they're #1 seed in the NCAA tournament, people realize a little more, but those are hard games to get. And but certainly we keep all those things in mind and factor in, and I think our schedule was good for us this year.
Aren't you already locked into 3 SECs and a Big Ten next year because you're in the Big Ten Challenge?
Right, we're in a Big Ten Challenge, and obviously we have South Carolina, Auburn, and Arkansas still on the schedule coming back. We have to go to South Carolina. So we have some already, yep.
You talked about the quick turnaround, and a few times during the season talked about how you felt like the guys would play well. Aside from that, do you ever feel fully prepared going into a game like this?
Sure. No, I think certainly there are times when you expect your team to play well. Like I thought we were going to play Duke well. I didn't think we played well against Georgia Tech in the first round of the tournament, and some of that was Georgia Tech. I thought they were very aggressive rebounding, and it put us on our heels, and you know, just a bunch of nerves or whatever you want to call it. We just weren't playing a team a third time. We didn't have the same vigor that we needed to maybe in that game. But I thought we would play after having won that game and kind of, okay, we won a game, we won it the way we did in overtime, won a close game. Now we're ready to go after Duke, and you know, in some ways, I think our guys maybe even approached it that way, like they forgot we had to play a first-round game to get to the second-round game. And, you know, everybody in the media kind of, when you're battling for an NCAA tournament berth and things like that, you know, the first game's only considered a bad loss. If you win, you're just supposed to win. So there's nothing to gain. And sometimes those games are hard to play that way. But once you get past that, then it's like, all right, let's go. This is what we need to do. We need to play. And so certainly I feel like there are times when we're really ready and going to play well. This one's a little different just because we haven't played together or haven't played in a couple days. We haven't really worked out in a couple days. We're just kind of getting back into it. But I think our guys are excited. They seem excited. We seem ready to go. I hope we have a decent crowd so we can have some energy in the gym. I think that'd be good for both teams and certainly for the program.
That's kind of off topic, and you may not even know, but reports out that James Johnson has been let go of Virginia Tech.
I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, there are reports out that that's the case. Just 2 years into a job where a guy really kind of walked into a bare cupboard. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I don't know that I want to comment because I don't know what's happened. You know, if it's happened, then I can talk more about it. But right now, I don't. I just know that, you know, it's almost like 2 bad years for a coach now, and you're done. I mean, it's just, and that's unfortunate because a lot of the circumstances very little is given to what you were taking over, what you're left with, the holes may come later. Like in my tenure, I had a good senior group and some good players, but we also had holes that in recruiting classes that we knew, and because of the late hire that we could have some trouble in a couple years later, that maybe we'd do better early than we would in the middle. And, people just aren't very patient anymore, which, I understand. Coaches make a lot more money, so there's a reason for that. But I think some guys that are doing things the right way and building something the right way sometimes can get let go a year earlier than they should, and then it's really hard for those coaches. It's really not fair to the coach when he hasn't had a chance to put some guys in there in place and give them their turn. I know, some guys have young teams, and it's hard to win in this league with young players. It's especially if your guards are young, and I saw that last year.
In their zone, whereas Syracuse, and obviously Syracuse is different athletes. Syracuse kind of stays in the 2-3, but these guys,
this is different. This is completely different. They're changing in the middle of the possession sometimes. They're going from a 1-3-1 to a 3-2. They'll change every possession, every other possession, every 5 possessions. They change a lot, just as much to confuse you, I think, as anything.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.